Have you ever noticed that there are more sales courses than you know what to do with? I take it you're all in sales or marketing in some way. Everybody give me a show of hands? For the most part? Okay. So I'm sure you've taken tons and tons of sales courses, and yet here you are at Toastmasters looking to improve your skills, make things better, get things to that next level. And interestingly enough, it's sales leadership. There are many, many, many courses on leadership as well, not to mention the number of books that you can find in chapters or on Amazon.com. And yet still, there are so many people struggling to improve their sales performance. And over the years, I couldn't help but ask myself, why is that? There are some people who are exemplary in sales and everybody else struggles to catch up, and they keep taking these courses. In fact, the people who are the best at sales are the people who give sales courses. Have you ever noticed? We're just doing another sales course. We'd like you to join. It's only $895, and you'll make it back on your first sale. We guarantee it. And then you never see them again until they have their next course to sell, and they're phenomenally good at it. And so they appeal to us. But to me, that's a bit of chaos, the difference between the people that want to be the top performers and the top performers. And I researched this for a long time and everything that I did, and I finally came up with some insights, and I think you'll enjoy them. But number one, whenever you go looking to try to do something, a speech like this, a keynote, something always pops up and goes, hey, this is a key, this will be very important. And I found the letter L. And I found it in my mailbox. And just in case you don't quite see what that is what I found in my mailbox. Now, sometimes it's easier to define what leadership and sales are not than it is to get into incredible detail and explain what they are. And that's why I think the courses fail. This is what it was. Now, this is a great example of what sales leadership is not. Now, what do you think the odds are that I'm going to use Canada Post for my next shipping, right? Or will I go to UPS or FedEx or whatever? What's your guess?
Not Canada Post.
I will not use Canada Post. I mean, this came out of my mailbox, and I don't think it could be any clearer than that, do you? And right beside, those community mailboxes, they have a big mailbox that they put a key into your box, and you can go into the big mailbox and get yours unfolded. But no, there it was. The letter L for leadership, and an example of what not leadership in sales is not. But in going into this to try to determine what's going on, why is there this chasm between it, I kind of stumbled on something. And I want you to work, I have a reading exercise for you. What I want you to do is read the sentence, and I want you to count only F's. Is that clear? Okay. Has everybody read it? Okay. How many F's? How many got 2? How many got 3? How many got 4? How many got 5?
I only got 5.
5? How many got 6? How many got 7? How many got 8? Okay, how many people here would be willing to bet money on their number?
Halfway through 5.
Come on. Who'd put $20 down right now and bet? Oh, we've got one brave soul. Oh, come on. Bill, won't even cover my gas to get here.
Sorry, West got all my money.
Very good. Okay, well, in 20 years of coaching and using this exercise for people, I only had one person bet me $20. And he was so confident, he said there were 3.
No, 5.
5?
Not more than 5. Halfway
5?
through
But the
5.
majority was 4, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's 6.
All right, who said 6?
I did, Carl.
Okay, there are 6.
Okay.
Now, what's interesting is the vast majority of the population will find 3. But you guys are Toastmasters, so you got the extra, you bumped up the average by 1 to 4, okay? But there are 3, 1, 2, 3 that sound like an F, okay? And the other 3 that people normally do not get are the ones that sound like V's. So an of, an of,
Up here,
the other. So there are a total of 6. But what we do as humans is we generalize, delete, and distort information in order to stay alive. We have to make ourselves more efficient. So based on our experiences, I ask for something that sounds like an F, so you very rapidly look for things that sound like an F. Because you're an excellent Toastmasters, you found a couple of extra. But that's an incredible thing that we all do. We let our experiences govern what we see and hear. Okay? And that's an incredible impact on the things that we learn, the courses that we take, and all of those sorts of things. So when you look at it in this way, if I try to speak to your experiences and you hear it in a different way, you're going to nod and say, yeah, but you will interpret what I say in a way that isn't the way I intended it to be, okay? So for example, in our world today, everything is promoted as being a digital world, right? Even from way back, when we got into business, you showed up at business, there were processes, there were procedures, you did all of these things, your job turned out phenomenally well, everybody was happy and went home, and never ever was there a conflict. Sales were phenomenal, everybody did so extremely well, correct? Do you believe that? I hope not. But you see what turns the wheels. These are people. And as well as having all the mechanical things in the world, we have all the organic things in the world. The world is made of organisms, and that's why they call our companies organizations instead of mechanizations. So there's this big realization that we have to come to. It's not only between us and our clients. Within ourselves, we have elements of being an organism and of having mechanical aspects to us. Or you will have heard people say, oh, he's irrational, or he's a left brainer, or he's a right brainer, or a very creative person, right? So for example, I had a manager once and he went on a leadership course. He had no idea other than he was going on a leadership course, and they said, you have to engage people. You have to engage your employees. So he did this. He came in the morning and he said, hey, Louis, how are you doing? Louis said, fine. Went back up to his office. He was sitting there. I came in a little while later and I saw Louis. I said, hey, Louis, how are you doing? He said, fine. I went, oh my gosh, what's wrong with Louis? So I went up to his manager and I said, hey, I just saw Louis. What's going on? What's wrong with him? He said, I said hi to him. He didn't say anything was wrong. So he was the type of person that was highly rational. So when he took a training course on leadership, guess how he heard it? From the rational perspective. In order for me to engage everybody here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a checklist. I'm going to say hi to everybody, and I'm going to check them all off. And that was his interpretation of what to do with that. I had an employee once, and I asked him to do a job. And from my perspective of common sense, I thought it was pretty easy to do. We had to do, mount a projector on a wing. And the wing was made of fiberglass. I did not want the metal to scratch it, so I said, can you get a little piece of cardboard and put it between the little metal bracket and that fiberglass wing to protect it, because it was government furnished equipment. I knew what I would do. I would rip the corner off a coffee box and stick it on there, screw it down, and it would be fabulous. I came back later and I looked, and there was this beautiful big piece of what they call the fiber board. You have Bristol board on one side, Bristol on the other, and beautiful foam core in the middle. This is when we started our company in the early 80s, and that was worth gold to us because we didn't have a lot of money. And there, perfectly cut out of the center, I know it was the center because there was a beautiful line from one corner of this board to the other, a 1-inch diameter washer carved beautifully out of the middle of this gold piece of cardboard. And I went, what's that? And I went and looked, and there it was, sitting between the wing and the little metal bracket. And at that point, I went to my 3 partners and I said, you got to see this to believe it. And we decided that there is no such thing as common sense. So we got rid of that altogether. And so the point being, our organizations and each other, our clients, as well as inside our own brains, we have to come to grips with the fact that there are elements that we have to know how to deal with and make it all happen. So you see, there is chaos in common sense because we can take courses and they don't work. We can, issue common sense statements to our employees. They don't work. With our coworkers, they don't work. We might say something to a potential client or a prospect and it doesn't work, and we go, what's happening? So what we have to do the wrong way, what we have to do is realize we, number one, have to be open to the fact that everything is organic. And by open, I mean we have to start recognizing it. So for example, although we have a balanced set of hands, how many people are right-handed? Left-handed? Yeah, I love the left-handers. I'm left-handed. When's the last